Welcome to day 171 of the 300 movie challenge. Today we watched the highest grossing film of August 2008, which was The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. He wasn't even the emperor yet, so good job with the false advertising.
No, I just want to bring up the one fact because in the beginning it was telling, like, you know how these movies usually go. It tells, like, the story of how the mummy became the mummy and everything. So it was telling the story, and it was like, okay, it's kind of your tradition. It's like you have the evil guy and everything, and it was going fine. It took place in China. We had no idea why there was a mummy movie in China, but okay, whatever. So it's going and stuff, and then she brings out these like oracle bones. Okay, yeah, whatever, sure, all right. They have like the little like Chinese. Well, I actually don't know if they were actually Chinese letters or not. I'm sure someone can confirm that part, but and it had like the letters and everything on the bones. Okay, yeah, sure, whatever. And then it mentions that she started reading it out loud in Sanskrit, an ancient language that the emperor would not know of. And I was like, but wait, Sanskrit is an Indian language.
Yeah, and we're in China. Because all Asians are exactly the same, and we have one culture.
I don't think ancient Chinese was remotely close to Sanskrit.
I highly doubt it.
That said, I don't know if that would have. Like, I know this still. Well, I don't know when this took place or anything, but I don't know if Sanskrit would have made it over there. That too. Those definitely were not Sanskrit letters.
Yeah, I swear that. I mean, we didn't like pause it to look because we weren't ready to do that. But like,
okay, let me look up what Sanskrit letters.
But I swear it just looked like, Chinese characters. So, okay, whatever. But
yeah, an ancient Indic language of India in which the Hindu scriptures and classical Indian epic poems are written and from many which northern Indian languages are derived.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I guess the whole thing is like, I mean, the idea is that the dude's tomb is, like, in the very, like, western part of China, so, like, I guess, but it still seems like it's so unnecessary.
I don't buy it.
Yeah, and even then, it's like, what's the point? Like, why does it have to be in Sanskrit anyway?
Yeah.
Okay, so, with that out of the way, I guess, just the dumb historical whatever, I mean, quote-unquote historical. Like, somehow, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and this movie are very similar.
Yes.
When you take the very basic concept.
Yeah, when you look at
like,
the elements and, like, all of a sudden, like, weird supernatural shit that happens and,
yeah.
it's like, okay, fine. But I found that movie much more enjoyable in terms of how weird it was.
Yeah.
I don't know why what the difference is really between the two and why I didn't like this one.
I feel like it's kind of like in Indiana Jones, the humor was, well...
It was at least well-timed.
Yeah, it was well-timed, and it was kind of like when we got into this movie, it's kind of like we didn't realize it was the third of a trilogy.
Oh, yeah.
And so they made a bunch of references, but we didn't understand any of the references and stuff. While for Indiana Jones, even though you guys hadn't watched like the previous movies and they dropped like some jokes, they still explained it enough so you could like understand like characters' relationships and stuff. Right?
Yes, I mean, yeah. Well, the thing is, for like the humor in Indiana Jones, I feel like most of the things that we found funny were like not like supposed to be that funny.
It was just very awkward.
Yeah, but like the timing did happen to work just right in like the kind of accidental way. Whereas this, it's like they were trying to be funny, but it didn't work.
That, and speaking of not working, the whole shaky camera action scenes thing was also not something.
Yeah, so I'm
That
like,
worked
okay,
very
are we getting into this era of action movies where we have the shaky, like, blurry cam that cuts every half second?
I guess so.
Oh,
That's
great.
what I got the impression of.
Because before this, honestly, like, in terms of, there's been a few, but most action movies, like, the editing hasn't been that bad. There were a few, like, I think Payback was one that was pretty bad. And, like, maybe something
Is the
else.
Saint also bad?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
But, so there's a few, but, like, a lot of them were fine. So, I don't know. Yeah, but... Fucking Yetis are in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Like, what?
So they get to
But
the Himalayas and they get attacked, and then the Asian girl screams for help, and these fucking Yetis come.
And they look more like cat people. It's like weird.
And that's not even like the weirdest part. There's the dude that can change between a three-headed dragon and everything.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, when he
But
just
he gets his immortality.
he just comes
he
out
just
as like a three-headed dragon, and we're like, what the
Immediately
fuck?
becomes a dragon, and we were just like, what happened?
And for a second, like the effect is that like it shows like his like normal human head, and then there's three normal human heads, and then they're like stuck at the end of the dragon necks, and you're like, what the hell?
It was so weird.
And
It was so weird.
I was like, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Kaiba played the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. It's not white though. They didn't have enough budget to.
Make
Turn.
it white.
well, no, see, they spread the white among the characters.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which,
Okay, is it just me, or is Brendan Fraser, that's the dad, okay? He's, like, weird. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but he just, like, acts weird. And, like, how he talks and, like, his, like, presence is just weird to me, and I don't know what it is. And then, also, so yeah, he's the father, and he has
Quote,
a son,
unquote.
and so I looked it up. The actors are like 11 years apart.
at least with Indiana Jones, you could believe that Shia LaBeouf was his son.
Yeah, because
Shia
Indiana
LaBeouf
Jones was
looks
like
youthful.
70.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Shia LaBeouf looks at least his age, which was probably like 20 because we saw him last year in the other movie I don't remember.
Oh,
Disturbia.
Disturbia?
Yeah,
Disturbia.
Disturbia. So he's like 20, and he looks like maybe late teens, early 20s, and he was supposed to be like late teens or something.
Yeah.
Fine. That's fine. Yeah, and Indiana Jones is like 70, but 11 years? You're not fooling anyone.
Yeah,
we
they
all
li-
thought that they were the same age until it was like, oh yeah, my dad.
But we
my
thought they were the
parents are-
same person at first, or at least I
Yeah.
did. And
Oh
I'm like,
yeah.
wait a minute.
Alan was like, why did they immediately go back to Europe? And me and my aunt were like, what are you talking about? Isn't it the same guy who was in the tomb? No, that's his dad.
I'm like,
And then
what?
Alan had to look up on the Wikipedia page.
I only knew because Brendan Fraser kind of has a fish face.
Yeah.
It's
Which
weird,
is
but-
ironic since the first scene you see him in is fishing.
Oh yeah,
Wait,
not doing
what the
great.
fuck was the point of that scene? Like, all I remember is that he like somehow like got like the hook in his neck, which like okay, but then like that's it. It's like
He shot the fish, and I don't know if it's supposed
Yeah.
to show that he's unhinged.
it's just so random. So, I think I described it perfectly when like I said this is like this movie is just shit happens for like
Yeah. For no reason.
for no reason. This shit just happens. It's like it makes the pacing really weird. Like it's both really fast but really slow at the same time because like it's fast in terms of we do this and then this and then this, but for each this piece it like drags it out. Like the
Yeah, did
action
this
is really
movie-
dragged out.
Did this movie feel a little bit long?
Yeah,
Or
it
is-
felt
It
long.
felt long and choppy.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
felt long, but it was choppy and like it was just like rushing through the plot, even though it felt long. It was really weird. But it was just
Yeah.
like 2-hour movie, so it's like
That too. Well, the plot was pretty straightforward, right? Like, it's kind of like
yeah, but it was kind of hard to
Forbidden
follow.
Kingdom
though.
in terms of like, okay, you have to go and return this object. However, the thing with this movie is that, you know how in Forbidden Kingdom they kind of like time the action scenes and stuff, so it's not
Yeah.
like each location is an action scene.
Yeah.
Here, every single location is an action location, so they
Yeah.
have to like gear up and like be like, okay, we're going to do this, this, and this in
Yeah.
here, and it becomes like an action scene. There's like no one place where there's like no action going on except in the beginning when they were in the house.
It's like a video game where you just have cutscenes between the gameplay.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Yeah, it's like okay. Yeah, but again, like because of how it's like edited and it's all choppy, even though the plot's really simple, it's kind of hard to follow
Exactly.
about
yeah.
like what's going on. So it's just, yeah, it's really awkward. And the only thing I can really say as something that like I kind of liked, but at the same time I more so like the idea rather than the execution, is the Brendan Fraser and the wife, and how
Yeah,
the
the couple.
them as a couple is like, again, I feel like they should have done more, but at least because I said this earlier on where I'm like, are they gonna make her like the woman who like tries to help but doesn't do anything? And they don't do that, right? She is
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
actually helpful, and they do stuff together like as a couple, and there's no bullshit like drama that they force into it. So
Yeah.
okay, I just wish that them as people were more interesting and that there was more of that, but like
Yeah.
it's something, I guess. But yeah, it's just okay. It's
It's pretty whatever. It's like the third movie set in China this year, which is odd.
oh my god, yeah, it is. And
We had Forbidden Kingdom, then Kung Fu Panda, and then now
this.
this.
This was definitely the bottom of the three, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, is this the worst movie? No, Jumper is worse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jumper is the worst movie of the year.
But here's the thing, it's not like a lot worse. Like, but no, I'm actually saying that as kind of like a good thing, because like,
Yeah.
like really, there's been nothing like trashed this year.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I personally have beef against the movie, but it's not the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah, exactly. Like again, Jumper and this like are not good. They're, Jumper is pretty bad, but it's not, atrocious, and it's kind of like
not like
No one got angry.
yeah,
it's not like the year before last.
2006.
Was it 2000? Which one was the really horrible one where it was pretty
2003.
maybe?
Well, 2006 was the one where like it was just there was a bunch of movies that were pretty just like bleh and like not that great.
Maybe yeah. It's kind of like that one where it's like at least there's like a nice mix and there's like a lot of movies that are like at least above average
Yeah.
as opposed to
Right,
like,
yeah,
low
that's true.
average.
Yeah,
That's
because
true.
that was the thing with 2006 was that like there was a lot of movies that were pretty bland and like forgettable and kind of lame. Whereas here, it's like
Yeah.
the worst movies are the bland, forgettable, kind of lame ones.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
There have been some like legitimately like Kung Fu Panda was good, Dark Knights was good, and then
Yeah.
the other
I would
stuff.
even say Forbidden Kingdom was at least enjoyable.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
pretty good.
I liked that movie too.
But then yeah,
I
you,
like
yeah, but then you have like, and again the bad stuff is really not that bad, so that's something I guess that's good for 2008. But well,
Yeah.
we haven't gotten to that movie yet, so
Oh yeah.
that said, I have no idea what the next movie is.
I don't either.
actually just today I was like, let me look up on Wikipedia like the really brief summary, and just by seeing one thing I'm like, okay, I have to tell these guys to not look anything up about the movie. They have to go in completely blind, because here we go.
Is that a segue? Should we be like, and then you'll find out shortly.
Sure, I guess so.
I guess that is a segue.
Is there anything else to talk about for this movie? It's just just kind of lame.
No, yeah, it's go watch Forbidden Kingdom Kung Fu Panda. It's better.
I will say one thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciated the fact, even though it was, I don't even know if the movie intended for this, but you know how they made the head, they made the horse headless instead of the horseman headless in that one.
Oh yeah, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
actually okay. So I guess this is not a segue because I just remember something to talk about.
Just kidding.
The whole thing is that he raises like the terracotta army, right? And that when they pass
Yeah.
the wall, they're like immortal or invincible or whatever.
Yeah.
But like before that, because again they're defeated before they get across the wall. But like the terracotta soldiers kind of suck.
Yeah.
Like literally,
As one would expect.
Yeah, like they literally could just like shoot. Like you see, like if they're made of terracotta, you could like break pieces off of them and they're still fine. But nope, they just like shoot them and their bodies like fall apart. And it's like, oh.
And then they're going against the undead army, which can just be like, oh, whatever, I'm already dead. Gets
Yeah,
back up
it's
again.
just like okay, this is kind of lame.
It's kind of one-sided. It was not thought out very well.
Yeah, so.
That's it. Is it really a mummy?
Oh yeah, that's another thing. No one's an actual mummy here. So I get it because like it's the name brand of the trilogy, but it's just kind of stupid because they're not mummies at all.
I mean, they kept calling them mummies.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They kept saying like, "Oh my god, I hate mummies," and mummies. It's like, but they're not mummies.
Yeah, they were just they were turned into the statues, and that's not what a mummy is. A mummy is like your body is preserved.
Yeah.
And so at the very end or whatever, it says like the guy, he's like, I'm going to a place with no mummies. I'm like, I'm gonna go to Peru or something. And so I looked it up, and there was plans for a fourth movie that apparently was titled something to do with Aztecs, even though Aztecs actually aren't in Peru. But whatever. That was Incas anyway. But they canceled it because they were like, you know what? We have a better idea. We're gonna do a reboot and start a whole cinematic universe. And look what we got with the 2017 Mummy movie, which is probably even worse than this, and also that, wonderful dark universe, which totally is gonna happen and be successful and everyone's gonna love it. Even though it's literally probably already dead after the first movie.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, the actors they chose for it didn't really help it that much either.
No, but at least DC's cinematic universe is like still going. At least they have that.
The butt of all the jokes.
Even though it's, going with Aquaman.
Fishman!
I mean, actually, when this video goes up, Aquaman will be out already. But
Fishman.
does anyone really like give a shit about Aquaman like ever? I've never.
What I know is that isn't Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy based off partly? It's like
I
Batman
guess so.
and Robin, and then also Aquaman.
I
think
guess
so.
I don't know, but
That's like the only. I might be wrong with that, but that's like the only thing.
He kind of had a role in Teen Titans, like the original Teen Titans TV show, but he wasn't there that often.
Yeah, he wasn't even in again, I watched the whole DCAU, and he's not a main character at all. He's just in a few episodes, and so when they had he's in the Justice League movies, I'm like, oh, damn it. Where's Hawkgirl? You fucked everything up.
Wait, they don't have Hawkgirl?
Yes, she's not in the fucking movie. I'm like, you sucked. You you took away the best character and gave us fucking Aquaman. God damn
But
it.
she punched someone on Christmas.
I know. They'll never have a Christmas special that ends in a bar fight now. I'm so salty.
I guess that's our segue.
Merry fucking Christmas there.
Is this even airing close to Christmas?
No, I think it's February.
I don't
Oh.
know.
Anyway, bye.
Bye.
God, this is a fucking train wreck. Just like the movie we watched.
Yep.